Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Night Owl Video. And as promised, today on Cult Movie Tuesday, we are talking about 1982's The Beastmaster, directed by Don Coscarelli. So today I'm going to be talking about this film. Before I dive in, I'd like to say hello to my new subscribers. Welcome. I have officially hit 50 subscribers. Yay! Thank you to everybody who has joined and commented and liked and all that stuff. I did notice some of my comments had disappeared, so if you left a comment within the last week or so, you may have to rewrite it, I guess. I don't know. A couple of them seem to disappear before I could answer them, so my apologies for that glitch, and really, YouTube should be apologizing. But anyway, today we are talking about this little gem right over here. As promised from my videos last week, The Beastmaster from 1982. This is a sword and sorcery film, or I guess you could call it an action adventure, but it's definitely set in those kind of like Conan style times, and so it's definitely got that sword and sorcery kind of vibe to it. This was directed by, as I mentioned, Don Coscarelli, who also directed Phantasm, which was a pretty popular horror movie, though I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I know a lot of horror movie fans love Phantasm. And he also did Bubba Hotep, which is actually a movie I really like. Probably one I could do for Cult Movie Tuesday, or Fright Friday for that matter. So yeah, and this is loosely based on a novel called The Beastmaster, not all one word, but three words, The Beastmaster, written by a person named Andre Norton. So this came out around the time that a lot of this stuff was very popular, and I remember being about 12 years old. I was 12 years old in 1982, and I remember obviously Conan the Barbarian was one of the first movies I ever saw on VHS. But I remember around that time, like Dungeons and Dragons was really popular, and I did look it up. And in 1982, along with the Beastmaster and Conan the Barbarian, you also had Sword and the Sorcerer and a movie called Sorceress. So this kind of trend was really big in pop culture, really, in media, and obviously in home games, video games. There was the what was it called, Dragon's Lair, I think. Music, there was a lot of like the kind of early power metal stuff. It was in the ether. It was in the consciousness of culture, with respect to the sword and sorcery genre. And I have to admit, I was kind of into it. I really love. I mean, Conan the Barbarian is one of my favorite fantasy films of all time. I played Dungeons and Dragons a couple times, though I wasn't very good at it. Um, but I like the whole thing. I actually, just as I'm saying this, I remember doing on my tape recorder. I used to do. Uh, I would do these little plays, like audio plays, and I remember having like kitchen knives and clanging them together to be the sound of swords clanging and that. So it was definitely like a thing. I mean, even if you look at a lot of the early like thrash metal, there's a lot of imagery of like, you know, demons and guys with swords and scantily clad ladies and demons and monsters and all that stuff. So anyway, all that aside, this one came out in 1982, a big year for sword and sorcery. I mean, obviously, Conan the Barbarian is miles ahead of this, in my opinion. But I had never seen this movie. I just found it at a flea market a couple weeks ago, so I decided I would pick it up and finally check it out. I've read about this most of my life, but I've never actually seen it, so it was kind of nice to finally find it. I paid a whole dollar for this, and I will go through it and show you all the packaging and the bells and whistles. But for a dollar, this was a steal, and it was well worth the dollar watch. So I'll get into that. But this film stars Marc Singer, who you may remember from the television series V in the early 80s, the alien invasion TV series. He plays a character named Dar. Tanya Roberts, who was in A View to a Kill, as well as, who could forget, Sheena, another kind of like, movie in that kind of that realm. She played a character named Kiri. Rest in peace. She passed away a few years ago. I think I remember when she passed away, and I was pretty sad about it. And then when I was writing the notes for this review, I rediscovered that she passed away, and it's sad. I really liked her as an actress, and she was also Donna's mom on That 70s Show. So you may know her from that as well. But in the 80s, she was the hot ticket. She was like the Sheena, and then this, and yeah, she was like, and then she was a Bond girl, so there's that too. It also stars John Amos, who was also in Die Hard 2 and more recently Uncut Gems. He plays a character named Seth, and of course the incomparable Rip Torn, who among other movies was in Coma, RoboCop 3, and Men in Black. And Rip Torn plays the character of Max. The synopsis for this film is short and sweet: a sword and sorcery fantasy about a young man's search for revenge. Armed with supernatural powers, the handsome hero, played by Marc Singer, and his animal allies wage war against marauding forces. So yes, he is the master of the beasts. He can summon the beasts and get them to do all kinds of cool stuff for him. So he's literally the Beastmaster. And you can see there's the Black Panther, although is it really a panther? Stay tuned to find out. So the production of this film, the story was started, the writing of the story, the screenplay, was started in the earlier in the 80s, so I guess 80 or 81. But the story, and when they were writing the movie, the script, the story became very different, apparently quite different from the novelization by Andre Norton. So to the point where Andre Norton actually got in touch with the producers and said, please remove my name from the credits. So clearly it was very different, and she did not want to be associated with the new story. So the producers managed to secure a $9 million budget, which at the time was Coscarelli's biggest film budget up until that point. Apparently, though, during the filming, there was considerable tension between Coscarelli and the executive producers over the casting and the film's editing. Apparently, originally, Coscarelli wanted Demi Moore to play the role that Tanya Roberts took, and Klaus Kinski to be in the role that Rip Torn took. Now that, the Demi Moore thing, I think, was a Coscarelli thing. That was a dispute between him and the executive producers. The Klaus Kinski thing was apparently a salary dispute. So that's why those two actors didn't take the roles. I think it would have been probably a very different movie had they been in it. But filming lasted for 5.5 months, and it was shot in California and Nevada. And then, as I was mentioning to you a few minutes ago, the Black Panther that's in the film is actually not a panther. It is a tiger that they dyed black, because apparently tigers are easier to work with on film sets as opposed to panthers, which I guess, I don't know, maybe tigers can be domesticated or tamed easier than panthers. I don't know much about that, but that's what went on here. So all I could think about when I was doing my research for this review and I read that was the in the movie Meet the Parents, when the cat goes missing, and so Ben Stiller gets the cat from the shelter and paints the cat to look like the missing cat. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, that is complete nonsense. But anyway, so the Black Panther was actually a tiger that was dyed black. The film was originally to be released on Christmas Day of 1982, which thinking about it, I was like, man, I mean, my parents didn't take me to many movies, and they definitely not have taken me to something like this, but I was just thinking, man, wouldn't that have been cool? like Christmas of '82, going to see the Beastmaster on Christmas Day. I think that would be so cool. But anyway, they decided to bump it back, so it came out in August of '82. I guess it would have been a cool summer blockbuster film as well, or like, imagine, getting ready to go back to school, fall of '82, just went to see Beastmaster. Would have been pretty cool. But I like movies around Christmas time. I get excited if there's like a really good movie that comes out around Christmas, like Star Wars, or um, Jackie Brown was one that I really remember seeing around that time. The Lord of the Rings movies. There's just a certain kind of excitement. But anyway, let's get bumped back to August. The total box office for the film was 14 million. So on a budget of 9 million, it made 14 million. The critical response was mixed. I couldn't find out a lot about the critics' response to it, but it currently holds a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. So the critics were a little divided on this. And I understand, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the film was successful enough that it spawned 2 more sequels, which I have not seen, as well as a TV series, which I think came out in the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. This edition is from Anchor Bay, which I actually just featured on my one of my thrifting videos. This is an Anchor Bay edition. It has been subsequently re-released on 4K in a 4K Blu-ray combo pack from Vinegar Syndrome. I don't own any Vinegar Syndrome movies, but I do watch a lot of reviews of their discs, and they seem like they do a really killer job with the packaging and all that. I don't have 4K capacity, so I don't really go in for those things. Plus, I think I want to say it's like $45 or something on Vinegar Syndrome. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but I think it's pretty expensive. And actually, the DVD and the original Blu-ray go for pretty good money on eBay and stuff. Like, it's pretty desirable even still. So yeah, so this edition came out in 2005 from Anchor Bay. It's the special, what is it called? DiviMax series edition. It's got DTS audio. Like I said, I found this for $1, and like it's in really nice shape. Like the guy who had this had a bunch of other movies. I got Maximum Overdrive from him as well, and he had a ton of movies, and like they were all in really, really nice condition. So clearly loved them. I feel sad that he's getting rid of them, but maybe he just doesn't watch them anymore or something. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna regret this one though. For $1, I bet he paid $25 for this easily when it first came out. But anyway, this is the Anchor Bay edition from 2005. I don't know if you can see the special features there. I can read them though. There, it's in widescreen. It has Saga of the Beastmaster, an all-new documentary directed by Perry Martin, featuring interviews with writer-director Don Coscarelli, writer-producer Paul Pepperman, production designer Conrad E. Ngone, and actors Josh Milred, Tanya Roberts, and Marc Singer. It also has audio commentary with writer-director Don Coscarelli and writer-producer Paul Pepperman. Separate from that, theatrical trailer, production stills, behind-the-scenes photos, poster, production and advertising art, talent bios, a DVD-ROM original screenplay, which laptops don't come with DVD-ROMs anymore, so I probably won't be able to access that. As well as, and this, if you watched my thrifting video, you know that this packaging is beautiful, and it came with this booklet / poster, which I will attempt to show you. So it has, when you open it up, it has like a thing here from Don Coscarelli about the movie, and then if you open it up, it has, oh yeah, a mini poster, which I think I had commented this would almost be cool to get framed. And then on the very back, you've got the scene or chapter selection. So my thoughts on the film, not as good as Conan, definitely not as good as Conan, but I'm also a little biased because I love Conan. But if you love D&D movies, like especially 80s ones, this is going to be your jam. It's pretty cheesy, but good cheese. Um, there's definitely some spots where you might laugh a little bit, but you're not meant to laugh. But the acting, Marc Singer is a ham. There's no getting around that. If you love Marc Singer, you will love him in this film. He carries the weight of the movie pretty well. Tanya Roberts is really good in it as well. There's great uh, there's great tension and sort of a playful dynamic between the two of them. The animals throughout it are really cool, like the tiger, the panther that is actually a tiger dyed black. In the scenes plays really well. Like I was just amazed at the handling of the animals in that. Um, the story is your typical, good versus evil, uh, sword and sorcery or sword and sandal kind of movie. Um, it's pretty well done. I think I don't know exactly where the budget went. Maybe to the actors and the filming, like the locations and that, but um, the effects were so-so. The prosthetic makeup and stuff was very average, but a really fun, playful movie. If you're just looking for like a Saturday afternoon popcorn movie, it's got the big driving epic music. I forget who did the music. I don't know if it says on here. Music is by Lee Holdridge. It's 118 minutes. It's rated PG in color, obviously. Um, but yeah, I would highly recommend this. I know some people were hoping. Um, I got a few comments about my reviews saying that I didn't really like say what I liked about the movies and that. So I'm trying a bit better to be a bit better at that. Because maybe I don't always do that. I kind of like say like, oh, this is a 5 out of 5. I love this movie. It's the greatest movie. And then I'm like on to the next thing. So I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful with my commentary on the movie, but I hope that what I just said a minute ago kind of like fills in that gap for this review and going forward. But I would say I really like Marc Singer. I don't know, when I watch Marc Singer, I just kind of like smile. I don't know if he knows that he's a bit cheese and like he's just leaning into it or whatever, but um, he really embraces the role. Again, Tanya Roberts and the dynamic between the two of them is really fun. Um, yeah, what else can I say about this? So, if you grew up in the early 80s, you probably maybe already know about this film. Um, I don't know why I didn't see it in the theater, and I guess I don't know. I just missed this one totally, but I'm glad to finally have seen it. I read about this in like Starlog and all um, those science fiction and fantasy magazines all through my teenage years, but I just never got around to watching it. Happy I did. Would highly recommend this. 3.75 out of 5 for me. But on a good day, I might even give it a 4 out of 5, depending. Not, like I said, not as good as Conan. So if you love Conan and you like that style of sword and sorcery, you probably would be a little disappointed with this. But if you lower your expectations and just go in looking for like a little bit of a party, this one's going to be your jam. You can rent it for $4.99 presently on Apple TV, and you might be able to watch it for free on YouTube, but I didn't tell you that. Um, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see the other two sequels. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Marc Singer returned for the other two, but not for the TV series. So that was my review of The Beastmaster. Let me know if you've seen this film, what your thoughts are on it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you indifferent? Um, I've seen The Sword and the Sorcerer. I have not seen Sorceress yet. So there are a few gaps there I need to catch up on, but very happy to catch up on The Beastmaster. Highly recommend it. I've been thrifting for about 3 years now for DVDs, and this is the first time I've seen this. So I don't know how common this is to find out in the wild, but like I said, you can get a newer copy on Blu-ray and 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. So you can go just Google Vinegar Syndrome on Google, and you'll be able to find it easy enough. And yeah, leave me your thoughts on that and what you thought of it. Give me the thumbs up if you like this video review. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And again, thank you to everybody who has recently subscribed. I have now hit 50 subscribers, which makes me very happy. And to any haters or naysayers, well, you know, I'm still doing it. And if you're just coming here now, like after several weeks, I have been sick, and my son got married, and then I've just been really busy with work, so I haven't been able to keep up with the channel as much in the last few weeks. But I'm hoping that will turn around in the as this and more videos come. So follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video, and until next time, I will see you out at the video store or out at the thrift store, or just out and around somewhere, or maybe I'll see you in a desert with wearing like a leather cod piece, and you'll have a sword and a tiger tiger painted black. Who knows? Anyway, till next time, take care. Bye.